I'm joined here today by the one and only Big Dog Brett Martin, tough MMA prospect. What's going on, man? How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing well, man. Thank you for asking. How are you surviving everything right now? I assume you're under lockdown like the rest of us.
Actually, no. I am in Nevada with one of my training partners right now. For he fights this weekend for the UFC. Jamal Hill is his name. So actually,
Ah, okay.
I got really lucky and he got the call. I got to be able to go back to a gym and get some work in with him. And now he's down here. We're down here till Saturday when he fights.
I assume it must have been a big relief when you got the call that you were going to get to help him out because I know a lot of people were starting to go a little bit crazy.
Yeah, definitely. I was doing some running and stuff, but not really getting good work in with people. And he hits me up usually when he gets the call. We've been working together for a couple of years, but this is the first time we've been able to, get almost every day in together. So I mean, it's definitely been special, and I feel very honored to be able to do this with him. You know what I mean?
And what's training camp looking for him right now? I assume you guys have less training partners than usual. Obviously, you're there, but is the camp very different from what you guys normally do?
Actually, for him, it was better. Usually he doesn't have a big body in there every day. His coaches do as much as they can. But he doesn't train at a big gym. He's kind of like myself. He's from Michigan, so we don't train at no ATT where there's a lot of guys to choose from. So he gets a lot of work in with a lot of different people, and and it's nice to have a guy in there with kind of my experience, and we work really well together, and we push each other very hard.
So are you going to be flying down, or I don't remember where the fights are, but are you going to go with him down to fight week?
Yeah, no, we came down here Friday. I'm in Las Vegas right now. I'm in Nevada
Okay.
right now. We've been here since Friday.
So are you going to be cornering him and all that good stuff during the fight week and everything?
Yeah, yep. He has coaches that usually roll with him. So, I was lucky enough to be that third person. So I'm morally just here as a body for, to keep him sweating and doing some grappling and stuff this week. And then, yeah, just an extra voice in the corner. And, if I see something I think would help, obviously, I'd speak out to his coaches because, both of his coaches are very good dudes. And, they are, just excited to have me here as I am to be here. You know what I mean? They like to help me as much as I help them. So it's definitely awesome.
And so what's it like when you're kind of the third guy with the training? During the fight and they get back to the corner. I assume if you notice something, do you have to like talk to the coaches first before saying anything, or are you able to just kind of express yourself? How does that go, being that third person?
Oh no, dude. They're very open. You know what I mean? Like I said, they don't. We don't have a lot of people. They only train a couple top level people. The Jamal's their highest level guy, and they don't have a big gym. It's a jujitsu gym, and then they got a striking coach that helps out there. So, yeah, they're very open to listen to whatever. And this guy that he's fighting is known to be very good on the ground, and that's kind of one of my fortes is getting people to the ground. So this has definitely been a camp where they're very open to kind of hear what I have to say, and they just kind of tell me what they want me to do, because I'm just here to have a look. So when they tell me what they want me to do, I'll do that.
And so, with you being a part of that corner, going down to the fight week and everything, that means you get to take all the fun COVID tests. Have you thought about that at all?
Yeah, nope. I'm like, they're all really worried about it. They don't like it, but I'm
Yeah.
not really a stickler on things. I'm pretty laid back, and whatever goes down goes down. So I'm not too worried.
Yeah, I talked to Alexei Olenek about it, and he was saying for fighters, like, listen, you don't want to get something in your nose, but you get your ribs broken, your nose broken. So he was like, really, you're scared of a test?
Yeah, no, you can't be. You can't be.
For sure. The other benefit for you going down there is you get to experience. Is this going to be your first time experiencing, the UFC, the fight week in a big event like that?
Yeah, nope. I've never even been to Nevada, so this is my first
Oh yeah.
UFC event, and yeah, so everything is going to be pretty special.
And so I assume for you that's going to be good too because it's kind of like a scouting trip, right? Like you get a chance to kind of look and prepare for the future and get acquainted with something that I'm sure you're hoping to be a part of yourself in the future.
Yeah, no, the biggest thing is, yeah, just being able to come down here, because there's going to be nobody at the event. Yeah, this is Jamal right here.
What's
Yeah.
up, man?
So yeah, there's going to be nobody at the event, and that was the biggest thing. Is just I'm lucky enough to be able to go to the event, and there's not going to be anybody there. So it's definitely a special experience, and being able to maybe make some connections. That's the big thing.
That's right. You mentioned the connection. Is this going to be a chance where if you see Dana White, you're going to walk up to him, try to shake his hand, maybe talk to one of the matchmakers, or do you have some kind of game plan in place?
Yeah, no, I figured, with this quarantine going on, they're probably going to come right to Jamal to talk to Jamal. You know what I mean? Whether he, definitely after he wins. So if I shake his
Right.
hand, I think Jamal's going to do a lot of the talking for me too. He's a pretty outspoken person, and he's been helping out a lot the last couple of weeks. So I'm not too worried about it. This trip's for him, not for me. So whatever
Right.
goes down, goes down. You know what I mean?
All right, so let's talk about you a little bit because I know you had a fight that was scheduled towards the end of March, I believe, with LFA that got canceled. What sort of happened there? I mean, did you realize this was going to be canceled? When everything else was getting shut down.
Yeah, I work for a city municipality, so we have a lot of restrictions coming in for a couple of weeks, and then when the Arnold and some of the other big events across the world were being canceled, I kind of figured the fight was going to be canceled. So I kind of had it, figured it was going to happen, but it is what it is. And at the time, it seemed like the right thing, but right now it sounds like stuff's opening back up, so I'm excited and ready to get back to work.
What was that frustration like for you? Because I know you hadn't fought since September. I assume it must have been frustrating not to go out there and have to take some more time off.
Yeah, no, the biggest frustration was, my last two fights have been the DQs, so it was just trying to get, go back to getting on that path that I deserve and, what I work hard for. Both of those DQs weren't something that you can plan for. So I moved past that. So I'm just ready to, go in there and get another W and, have people start respecting. I got a very good record. I work very hard. So it's just, I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing and winning fights. You know what I mean?
100%. Listen, take me back all the way to the beginning. How did you first get involved into MMA?
Yeah, I wrestled with a lot of good wrestlers in high school, and when I was college wrestling, a lot of my high school buddies had fallen into a unsanctioned fighting as at that time, and I used to go to the shows and kind of watch, and all my buddies would be like, "Man, you'd be so good. Why don't you fight?" And I'm very dedicated to what I do. So at the time, when I was wrestling, I was very dedicated to the sport, and I couldn't imagine getting hurt in there and not being able to be an asset to my team and do the things I wanted to do in wrestling. So once I quit wrestling, I kind of fell into MMA just to fight and try to get back in shape. I was weighing like 335, was really out of shape. So I took a fight and won. And, every fight that I took, more people were like, man, you got to do this. And then towards the end of my amateur career, I beat a couple of the top guys back-to-back fights, and everything went sanctioned at the same time, so it made sense to go pro. And once I went pro, I do try to do things the right way, and I'm blessed to have some very good people around me on all sides and a lot of good connections. And now it's just all about making the right decisions and finding the best way to get to the top to keep fighting the best of the best. That's what it's all about.
And so, as a wrestler, were you nervous at all about, silly things for us looking on the outside, but, getting punched in the face, getting kicked in the body? Were you nervous about that at all, or was that something you knew that you'd be able to take?
I think if I was like everybody else at wrestling, when you're a smaller guy, you kind of beat the curve of stronger and older guys. I was a 215 pounder as a freshman, so I used to go into these matches. I wrestled on a very high level team, so a lot of these teams that we wrestled had good 215s and heavyweights because they're good football players, or these are other good teams. So when I was a
Right.
freshman starter, I would go in literally just not to get beat by more than 7 points by good guys. So I would be getting my face rubbed in the mat, shoulder put all the way to the other side, and the goal was not to go to my back. And I did very well at that. And then throughout my high school career, I turned into one of those guys. So I was never really worried about what was to come. I've been beat up, and I'm not your stereotypical heavyweight, big jacked. I mean, I'm kind of a pudgy feller, so people kind of overlook that, and they don't understand the resume. They don't understand what I've been through and what I've done my whole life. So, and I think my last couple fights have shown that. I fought two dudes back to back that are kind of like giant heavyweights. So I think I'm showing that I don't really care what you look like, what style you are. I'm just here to fight the best and prove to myself more than to anybody else that I'm doing this for the right reasons.
And so there's a lot of talk right now for the prospects, the contender series and all that stuff. They're saying that, the contender series could come back or guys could get called up straight to the UFC. Do you think there's a chance we could see you next with the contender series or potentially even getting called up straight to the UFC? Or do you think we're going to see you back at LFA?
Yeah, I don't know where you're going to see me next. I'm hoping it's the UFC. I hope the contender series or the UFC comes around and, understands and whether or not it's them or LFA or one of these other regional promotions or the guys that or Big John's in Michigan. You're going to see me come back regardless. And it's going to be soon.
All right. With that being said, that leads me to my last question. Kind of a tough one, but when do you think realistically we're going to see you fight again? I assume it's starting to eat at you a little bit.
Yeah, no, I was eating at me real hard, but it's kind of a lot of people don't understand when you're in somebody's camp with them. It's like you're the fighter too. Other than the promotion side of it. I'm still sore every day. I'm still doing trying to do the same workouts he's doing. So I'm enjoying this just as much, and it's for the UFC. So what better
Right.
way to spend my first show down here? This was my dream, to either fight in my first show or help a homeboy chase his dream in the show. So this is 100% what I started this for. I didn't start this to be the UFC world champion. I started this to see my friends and just build another relationship in a sport. So I'm hoping it's soon, you know what I mean? But me and Jamal will keep working, and I just made a really good connection in the last month with these guys. So I'm going to be doing a lot more training with him and a lot more different things in my camp, just to keep building and just try to get better. That's the biggest goal.
Sounds good. Well, thank you so much for the time, man. I really appreciate it. Enjoy fight week. Hopefully, we see you make the right connections, and we'll see you again soon.